Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to apply some finish to our boxes. The kind of finish that we're going to use is this Danish Oil. It's a one-step penetrating finish. It's a petroleum based finish. So the things that you're going to need are your box. You should have sanded this to try to get as much of the glue off of the inside and outside as possible. I sanded this starting with a 120 grit sandpaper, and then to smooth out some of the rougher parts I finished it off with this 220 sandpaper, and so it's nice and smooth. The other thing you want to make sure you do is there might be a lot of dust on here. You want to brush that off or kind of knock it out, get the dust off of the wood parts. So it's pretty clean and ready to go. So the other thing you're going to need is a little rag like this that we're going to bunch up like this. And hopefully we won't get too much on our fingers, but if we do, we can just wash it off in the sink. So I've put Danish oil in some of these little condiment, like usually there'd be ketchup or maybe mustard or something in here, but we got oil. Not editable oil, so don't put it on your French fries or whatever. And this is how you're going to apply it. You take a little bit and you squirt it on. Notice that I have this scrap piece of wood here that I am working on top of to help prevent getting oil everywhere. So I'm just going to add a little bit to it. Let me zoom in here so you get a little bit better how much I put on. A little bit at a time. And then I'm just kind of rubbing it in. You can kind of go whichever direction you want. It's a good habit to go with the grain though. You don't really need to get on these end parts because the laser engraver pretty much seals that when it cuts it. Also, if you do that, what happens, I'll see if I can show you here, some of that char, kind of ashy stuff will get on there, and then when you rub it, it'll spread around. So you kind of want to prevent that. But it's pretty easy. It's one step, like I said. You want to just get it to soak into the grain, but not too much. And you can see where it's wet and where it's not wet. And pretty much you're just getting everything wet, and that oil is just soaking in there. And then you can set that part aside. And then you're going to do the same thing for the box part of this. You kind of want to be strategic about how you're doing this so that at the end you're not holding on to a part that already has oil on it. So I'm going to do the inside first. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the sides, and then try to do the bottom last so that I don't have to touch it a whole bunch with my fingers, so I'm not getting oil all over my fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll speed up the video starting now. All right, last thing, before you put this away, when this dries, it does get kind of sticky, so don't put your lid on all the way. When you store it, you're going to just set your lid on top like this, askew a little bit, so that as it dries, it doesn't get glued on the top. Might not be a problem, but just it's a good practice. When you put finish on, you can assume that as it dries, it gets a little sticky. So you're going to wait until the next day or the next class, and then your box will be ready for an engraving if you want to put that on the top, or you can take it home.